My name is Anthony Wilson, and this is New Energy Conversations. Today, I'm talking to Ian Walcott, a motor vehicle enthusiast, about the conversion of his fuel-injected Volkswagen vehicle to electric.
Hi, I'm Ian, and today I have the opportunity to welcome you to a very, very special project near and dear to my heart. I'm working on the conversion of a traditional gasoline car to electric. So behind me actually is a 1967 Volkswagen Beetle, which we're going to be converting from its traditional gasoline engine into electric engine. So, it's not the kind of project that you'd hear about every day. So a lot of people would ask me, Ian, where did that come from? What made you think about doing something like that? The truth of the matter is, it actually didn't start off with a car. It started off with me trying to think of some way to engage my 15-year-old son in a project that would give he and I some hands-on time, doing something that was something other than playing video games. So, I was kind of messing around with YouTube and, YouTube just feeding you different things. And being an engineer, it wasn't long before I came across some folks out on the West Coast who were doing conversions of traditional gasoline cars to electric. And I said, you know what? I think this is something that we could actually, look into. So I kind of looked at a couple of videos, and then I realized pretty quickly that there were some cars that were suited to doing conversions, Volkswagen Beetle being one of them. And that was actually the birthplace of my idea, So let me just get a Volkswagen Beetle and let's convert it to electric. The good thing about the route that I decided to take was dealing with the folks out in California. They have been down the road of converting Volkswagens to electric several times before. So they actually have full-blown kits available. So not wanting to recreate the wheel, I decided to just go to a company out there and buy a complete kit which had all of the necessary components that we were going to need for us to do this conversion. We are actually going to be simplifying this car. We're going to remove the gasoline drivetrain. We're going to take out everything associated with that, the gas tank. We're going to take out all the fuel lines. And we're going to be putting back in a few components that are going to take this car from being a gas-powered VW to being an electric-powered VW. To do this project, it was really important that we had to have a good foundation to build on. So that brought us around to the next challenge that we had to think of. Okay, where are we going to get a Volkswagen, and what kind of condition is this car going to be in? We eventually got wind of a Volkswagen, a PK series, a 1967, that someone very graciously donated to us so that we could do this project. Problem was, the Volkswagen had been sitting down outside in the weather, of course, for, maybe 10 or 12 years. So it was less than desirable. It actually had a colony of rats living in it. So that meant that we needed to do a bunch of work on it to make this Volkswagen ready for this project. For the last couple weeks, maybe months even, we've been going through what I would say is a very painstaking process of restoring a 1967 Volkswagen. And when I say restore, I'm talking about mechanical restoration. So again, going back to what I previously said, this is a simplification of the car. So we have taken the engine out, and that's no longer a part of this picture. But there's a lot more components that we need to make sure are up and running and functioning properly. So we need to make sure that the wheels are rolling right. We need to make sure that the brakes are functioning, steering is good, the suspension is fine, and of course, the general aesthetics of the car are okay. So that's when I realized that this project is, of course, getting way out of the scope that I was been able to manage myself. And that's when I would have stepped over and introduced some other elements into this project. I introduced a very, very, very good friend of mine, I'll leave the names out to protect the innocent. But what he brought to the project was he took on this very, very, very crude Volkswagen shell that we had and went about scrapping it down, breaking it down to its least components, and getting all of the aftermarket gear that we would need and accessories so that we could reassemble a very, very, very solid and robust Volkswagen Beetle for us to work with. So today we're going to get an opportunity to see what I call the blank canvas that we're going to be building on. We have not gotten to the point yet where we're installing electrical parts. We're just at the point where we're finishing up the mechanical restoration. A part of what we're doing to this Volkswagen is very much, well, all around it's an improvement of the Volkswagen. So to put it in perspective, the traditional Volkswagens would have had a gas-powered Volkswagen would have, say, a 50 horsepower engine in it. The motor that we're going to be putting in is about 75 horsepower. So already this car is starting off with more power. The torque of a traditional Volkswagen is somewhere around 78 foot-pounds of torque. The torque of this motor that we're going to be putting in is somewhere around 120 foot-pounds. So again, about 60% more torque available to us in this Volkswagen. So this Volkswagen is going to be not only neater and cleaner, but it's also going to be more powerful and more agile. So we needed to make sure that with this extra horsepower that we were putting on board, that this baby was safe and that able to handle all of the extra components that we were adding. Why is this conversion to electric? Why are electric vehicles even important in this grand scheme of things? And this was one of the things one of the dots that I really tried to connect for my son. Being 15 years old, he's just starting his life. And the whole concept of carbon footprint and being very much aware of our carbon footprint is so much more real for him. And I needed to make that connection for him. So definitely as we start to appreciate our own carbon footprints, I needed for him to understand what is the carbon footprint of a traditional gasoline car versus an electrical car? And that, of course, introduces even more discussions where, we're talking about the kind of power that we're going to be using to charge this car. We're actually going to be investing in a solar system so that we're going to be generating clean energy to power this electrical car, to ultimately claim all of the carbon credits possible. So glad for the opportunity to show it off today. So welcome aboard.